Now that we know about the parts of the cello and how to care for our instruments, it's time to learn how to hold the thing. Yay! So, first of all, everybody is a little bit different. I am like short and squatty. Some people are 6 feet 5 inches tall. We are not going to hold the cello exactly the same way, and that is okay. So first and foremost, you want to feel comfortable when you are holding your instrument, and like it feels, for me, I feel like I've been playing a long time, but I almost feel like I could hug it. Like it just feels comfortable where it's sitting. So if there's a part that feels uncomfortable, feel free to try to adjust things here and there so that it works well for your body. We want the cello to work for our body instead of our body working for the cello, if that makes sense. So the first thing we want to talk about is how to sit. So on the cello, sitting is really important because that's how we play it all the time. You can play it standing up. I choose not to ever, but there are straps that you can get to do that if that's your thing. But for me, I like being lazy, so I'll take the sitting where I can get it. So what I like to do is I like to stand up just like I normally would stand up, and I'm just going to sit down. So I have my feet shoulder width apart, and I'm going to sit a little bit more on the edge of my chair. I'm not going to put my back on the back of the chair. So I'm sitting probably on the second half of the chair, the front half of the chair. And I'm just going to have my power stance here, with my shoulder width apart, feet, and I'm just going to sit down. La, la, la. At any moment, I could stand back up. So we want to have that connection with the floor. My feet feel like I could sit down or stand up at any time, if that makes sense. So once we're comfortable with kind of our power sitting stance, we want to make sure that we are sitting up super straight. I'm not always good at this. I'm good at being lazy again, like I said. But I want to feel like my torso is up a little bit. I also feel like just a little bit, I want to feel like I'm hinging from the bottom of my waist and that I'm hinging just a little bit forward so that I can put the weight into the cello that I'm going to need to produce a very nice sound. So I just feel a teeny bit tinged forward. A lot of times for my students, I have them warm up their bodies a little bit after we do a warm up with their bows, or pretty much after we tune. I'll have people kind of breathe in and stretch their shoulders. I'll have them do some shoulder rolls, both going backwards and front. And I like to warm up my neck. So we use these muscles quite a bit when we're playing. So we want to make sure that you at least start really loose. After we have our power stance, I like to make sure that I like my cello a little bit lower. So when we're getting our in pin out, and this is adjustable to any height, 6'5" dude or lady is going to want their in pin out a lot further than I do. So when I'm first finding the correct spot for my in pin, I made it a little too tall. What I do is I hold my cello out straight in front of me. And that's about as far as I want to put out my in pin, my rock stop, or that's as far as I want the in pin away from me on the floor. So again, my cello is arm's length. Woo! The other thing is, I place my in pin a little bit closer to my right foot. So it's not straight in the middle, it's a little bit closer to my right foot. The reason is we're going to tilt our cello just a teeny bit. The other thing that I really want to make sure that I have when I'm selecting how far my in pin can go is, for me, I like my cello to kind of hit right where at the base of my sternum. So there's a bone there, and I want it to just hit right at the base of that bone. Unfortunately, that means my whole life I've never been able to wear long necklaces because I play almost every day. So if that's an issue for you, sorry. Again, I want my cello to hit at the base of my sternum. And I kind of feel, again, like the cello is really close to me. So we are going to put our cellos on our left side, our fingerboard and the neck. and the scroll and the pegs, they're all going to go on our left side so that we have our fingers are going to do all the hard work here, and our bow hand, we're going to hold the bow with our right hand. So left hand does all the hard work, right hand does the bow work. The other thing for me, since I have shorter legs, what we want to do is be able to play on any string at any time. And for me, if I'm playing on my C string, I might hit my legs sometimes. So I want flexibility to move the cello from right to left a little bit, depending on which string I'm playing on. When I'm playing on my A string or my highest string, my cello's going to be a little bit tilted. And I do that so that I don't actually have to twist my whole body around to play, whether I'm playing with my bow or pizzicato. But if I'm playing on my C string, I'm going to straighten the cello out quite a bit. So here's my A string level, here's my C string level, and that way I can still play without hitting my knee. I can move it, my knee fits right kind of in this corner, so I can adjust with my legs without touching. Look, no hands, woo! But you may need to adjust based on your body type, and that's cool. Again, we want to make sure that you are comfortable and you're doing something that works well for you. So after all that is nice and adjusted, I like my cello really close to my head. I mean, so close that, again, I got my pegs cut off so that I can keep my head as close to the cello as possible. That way I can kind of see out of the corner of my eye, and also, for me, since I'm short, my head was going right there, and I was doing a lot of bending over, which isn't good for you. So if you have pegs, you can keep it a little further away. But in general, the bottom of this peg hits the bottom of my ear. Some people like their cellos a little bit higher. So some people like their pegs touching at the top of their ear, that bottom peg, and that is fine too. Again, find a place that you are most comfortable and it feels the best for you.